Welcome to part 3 of my server setup tutorial. You notice I have an untitled document open, and that's because as we go through this tutorial, I'm going to want something to refer back to with a list of what I need to do. So I generally open up either my notepad or an untitled Google Doc to just work in, and then I throw it out later. Okay, so this tutorial, we're going to talk about how to use reaction roles. So the types of reaction roles I'm going to want clan roles, or well, yeah. So I'm going to want IC pronouns, right? And I want she, her, and then we want to make those pronouns in your list here. You're going to want to make it look like exactly what the role on the server for that is. So you'll notice I've done a bunch of different roles are already set up here. So they need to be exactly the way you see them here. So she, her, paste without formatting. Yep. Because if you type them in when you're setting up reaction roles wrong, it just gets confused. It doesn't know what you're talking about. So there's, I'm going to bold this so I know that that's just one discussion. And then clans is the next discussion. Or maybe you want to put sect first. It's up to you. So we have on this server, I have set up, and again, it's fine to add more clans. I would set this part up, do this part up first, because when you add a new role, it generates at the bottom. And it's helpful to have this list in sort of an organized fashion. So let's say I'm like, oh, my game has a gargoyle and he wants his own icon. Or she, or they. Okay, so there I've set up the gargoyle role. You can add color to these. It is a lot of fun. But you sort of need to pick and choose because you only have so many color options. So some people like to do colors like just different colors for local or visitors. Some people like to do it based on clan. It's up to you how you want to do that. Some people just give a color like, right. It helps if the ST and the coordinators have colors so that they're easy to identify. And also in their permission, they show up separately from other members of the server when they're online. But so it's real easy to overdo the color thing. But anyway, so you can drag this up and put it in the list in alphabetical order. Sure. List is totally not in alphabetical order. Oh well. Okay, so now as I'm looking at this, I'm going to type in the clans that I want to add today, and I'm only going to add 2 to show you. And then sect Camarilla, warrior unaligned. Okay, so again, I would make the whole list here, and there's another really good reason for that I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, so you're going to go to your welcome rule or room, which you do by escaping out, and you're going to type some messages, and you're going to be like, to assign yourself IC pronoun tags, click on the appropriate icon. And then if one of the icons isn't totally self-explanatory and they're hover over text, I start typing. I insert the icon in my explanation. So, for example, we're going to use the wizard for they them. So wizard for they them. Sometimes I put that in parentheses. It's up to you how you want to format. There are a lot of things you can do in terms of formatting that's really cool as you are typing. But for these guys, I really like to make sure that like it's just some of the tags disrupt the functionality of reaction roles. Okay, to assign yourself a clan, click on the appropriate icon. And again, if I was putting all the clans in here, I would make sure that my catif and my mortal tags were what they are was explained next to them. Oh, is it going to count that? Okay, so you want to make sure those are separate posts, and I'll show you why in a second. To assign yourself a sect, click on the appropriate icon. Apparently I can't spell today, or rather I'm spelling like a 12-year-old. That's okay. Okay, so these are all separate messages. Hover over them and you can edit them here. You can add a reaction to them here, but you're not going to do that right now. What you need to do is you need to go in here and you need to click more. You need to click copy ID. And then I usually go over and put that in my Google Doc above the list of pronouns. Although as you're working, I find that just keeping it in my clipboard is enough. So there is, right, so this line is the text for clans. So we're going to copy the message ID and that goes there. And then here is the message ID for the sect message. Okay, so to set up reaction roles, you head over to your little staff bot workspace. And the prefix for talking to the reaction role bot is RR exclamation point. And I'm going to tell it help so you can see really quickly all its commands. You don't need developer mode. You can invite it to your own server with that command. This will help you get the message ID, but you don't really need to because you've turned on your developer mode. Okay, our stats. This command is important in case you make a mistake and you want to remove the role. Okay. This will give you a list of all the reactions you have. So the one command I was actually here to look for is this one, RR exclamation point permissions. That makes sure that the bot has all the permissions it needs. Now, to set it up, it needs admin privileges. So we're going to click on it. We're going to right click on it, go to roles and make it a server admin for now. Remember, once you've set everything up, to turn that off. Okay. So now it should have all the permissions it needs, and hopefully this will work right. So the command to add a reaction role is RR exclamation point reaction role. So it says, oh, part 1, tag the channel that you would like the reaction role message to be sent. So we put that message in welcome. So we're going to type pound welcome. And it says, now I would like the message ID. So we're going to do IC pronouns for this video. So I'm going to copy that. And like I said, I'm going to leave it on my clipboard as I work. Now you're going to react with the emoji you want to use. And you can do this with multiple ones. So let's do she, her first. So this one says female. Okay, and you'll notice once you do it, it disappears really quickly. So now it wants you to tag or write the name of the ID of the role you want to give. So I want to give this role, so I'm going to copy it. Type it here. And you can type it, this one has a lot of symbols in it, so I want to make sure I get it right. The role type you want is 1 because people can add and remove themselves to role. I don't really see why you would use 2 or 3. Like, I'm going to give you can give yourself this role and you can never take it away. Doesn't make sense. Okay, so now if we go back and look at welcome, you'll notice this icon has been added. And if I click on it, it assigns me the pronouns. Oh, reaction role talks to me, and it assigns me the pronouns she, her for my character. You could add a set. Theoretically, you could add another set of these for people's out of character pronouns, and that would be super respectful and healthy and honest. But it's up to you how you want to run your own server. Okay, so we can see reaction roles. Like, look, you have that role. It's a really chatty bot. All right, let's add the other 2. Okay, so again, we're going to do RR exclamation point reaction role. And again, we're going to the welcome channel. Okay, and our message ID is still right here. Convenient. Paste that in. Okay, and then we want the they, them role. Oh, I did that wrong. It's gonna, maybe it won't yell at me. Wizards. I like to make mistakes in front of my students too, so that then they don't feel as bad about making mistakes. Okay, so they, them is the role. And set up part 5, we give it type 1. Then we go over and look. Okay, so now you can assign yourself they, them. All right. Let's add the last one so you can see a full set. So this is our ID number again. So first step is type the command, our exclamation point reaction role. Okay, we want it in the welcome channel. Okay, the message ID. We add the reaction we would like to use. So we want the he, him wizard. There we go. Okay, and that's gonna be the he, him IC role. All right, so now you can go back to welcome, and the 3 more common pronoun roles have icons. So if someone has a different set of pronouns, they can either message you. You can say like message the admin if you have a unique set of pronouns, and if that you notice that more than one person has that set of pronouns and you want to make it auto assignable, you totally can with a different icon. Or you can just manually create that role and assign it to them. It's up to you how you want to handle that. Okay, so we can do the same thing with clans, and this does take a little while to set all of these up, and the same one for all the sext. And that's how you use the reaction robot. I'll see you in part 4.